Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am shooting at Ipsy Studios and I am going to be doing a makeup brush video. It's kind of a blend between my must-have makeup brushes and my favorite makeup brushes. I think that the quality of your makeup brush is as important as the quality of your makeup, if not more important, because I think that if you have a great makeup brush and drugstore makeup, you can have a beautiful application of that makeup. And you know, if you have really great makeup and a great makeup brush, well then, it goes without saying, right? But some brushes are really expensive and some are not. And I think that there are inexpensive brushes that are awesome, and there are some more expensive brushes that are not so awesome. So I just kind of wanted to break it down, what brushes you need and which ones of those categories are my favorite. If you want to know what makeup brushes you should have, then keep watching. Okay, so I just want to start off with the face real quick. Foundation is kind of like the first thing you put on after primer, and you can use a foundation brush to put your primer on, or you can use your hands, either way. My favorite foundation brush right now is by It Cosmetics. It's the Heavenly Luxe Flat Top Buffing Foundation Brush, and it's just so fluffy and it has so many bristles and it applies flawlessly. And the other thing that you need is a beauty blender or a beauty sponge. This one is from Real Techniques. It's their beauty sponge and it has a flat edge, and this one is just my beauty blender. To be honest, I kind of like my sponge better than my beauty blender. I've been like going to this more than this ever since I got it, and it's really much more affordable. I love this flat edge that it has. You can really get underneath for concealer, but it's great for foundation. And between these two things, these are what I'm using for foundation, but you have to have a foundation something. You have to have a foundation something. I'm not big on applying with my hands. I don't. I don't like it. I don't like getting makeup underneath my fingernails. I don't like using my hands. If you want some amazing brushes, both of these are drugstore products, and they're both awesome, hands down. Can't go wrong. For concealer, I typically, again, I use my sponge. This one's great because, like I said, you can get under the eye and you can get like in the corners of your nose too with this one, which I really like. But I also like this brush here. It is the Micro Duo Fiber. Oh, Jesus, I keep dropping everything. It's from Pure Minerals and it is the Complexion Authority, that's what it says. But it's a duo fiber brush, and this is really great for putting your concealer on. I've never been big into buffing my concealer into my skin with a brush. I've always used a sponge, but this brush is awesome, and I've sort of been using it more than my sponge lately, since I got it like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I don't know, but it's awesome. Okay, so for contour, you need a contour brush, and I like these two. This one here is from Real Techniques. It's from their Bold Metals collection, and I love the color of the brush, and I love that the brush is not round, it's kind of square, so when it's laying on a table, it doesn't fall over. But aside from all of that, I like that this brush is rectangular. So when you're contouring, you can get in there, get your line, and then you can take it and brush it down a little bit so you have your contour line all set up, and then you can just blend it out, and then it's like seamless. And like, I didn't have to bake or anything to get that line. So it's just a really great contour brush. The other one is the Zoeva 101 Luxe Face Definer brush. I love this brush. It kind of comes to a tip right here. And so for contour, it's really great because it does get in there. But I also like it for bronzing around the edges of my face. It's just a really nice fluffy brush, and it gives a really even application of product. I love it. So good. Zoeva. Zoeva. I love them. I love their brushes. Every single brush they make is hands down my favorite. So I'm just gonna go on record and say that now. So for blush, the two I really like right now for blush are Sigma's F10 powder blush brush. It's really fluffy, and I just love it because, you know, you pop it on and then with a really light hand you just buff it out, and it gives a nice even application and it blends things out nicely. This is the Real Techniques 300 blush brush, and this one is nice. You put it just kind of on the apples and you just kind of drag the color out, and I love that it goes, the bristles kind of go to a point. It's just different and nice and fluffy and does a really great job. For your cheek highlight, I like a fan brush. I have two of them. I have a really thick, fat, fluffy one, and this one is from Sigma. It's the Fan F90. And then this one here is the 129 Luxe Fan Brush by Zoeva. I probably use the Zoeva one the most. It applies a denser amount of product, where this one, because it's so fluffy, it really applies a little bit more subtle. It diffuses it out more. So if you're not trying to have like a see you from outer space highlight like I always am, this is a really great one. And then if you have like a fancy event or you like really want to glow, this one is really great for that. For under eye setting your concealer, you need a brush, or you can also use your sponge for that. But the brush that I like is the 105 Luxe Highlight from Zoeva. It's just, I think, the best brush out there to really like get that powder underneath to prevent creasing. It's my favorite. It's the one that I use. But I also use this sometimes if it's like a loose translucent powder. Sometimes I use Laura Mercier's translucent, and I'll use this for that. Okay, so those were the face brushes. So we have foundation, concealer, contour, blush, and highlight, and your sponges. So for eyes, here are the eye brushes that I feel that you need. Maybe you guys are thinking that's way too many brushes, and maybe it is. This one, you could maybe lose a few of them. Some of them are redundant, but I'll go through them. So the first brush that I have to have is a crease brush for my transition shade. I really like this one from Crown Brushes. It's the Crease Blender brush, and I like it because it's really fluffy, and the bristles really get over a large area, so I can really blend that transition shade all over the area that I need it to go. Any fluffy brush, a Sigma's E40 is really great for that also, but I don't have mine here. I have a MAC 224, and that one is also good for the transition color, but I don't use it for that. I actually use it for applying highlighter in the inner corners of my, like on the sides of my nose kind of, and also for my brow bone. And that's the thing, like every brush you can use for multiple things. There's no rules on how you use a brush, but there are some more practical uses of some of the brushes, and that's kind of what I wanted to go over with you guys. So after you put your transition color, you're gonna go to your crease shade, and I really love the 228 Luxe Crease by Zoeva, and it has another, again, a pointed tip, so the product really will stay in the crease, but then the bristles that are shorter will blend it out. So all you have to do is just go back and forth in windshield wiper motions, and this brush is gonna do all the work for you. So I really love that for a crease brush. Another one that's great is the E25, but I think that it's Sigma E25. But I think, like, you can see that the bristles are really different. So the Zoeva one is more pointed. This one here, it's more pointed, and the Sigma one is flat, but a little bit flatter. I mean, it's pointed, but it's not as pointed. So I Since I got the Zoeva one, I use it way more than the Sigma one. But this one is actually good for blending out edges. So like, let's say you apply a crease color and it's just a little harsh. This is really nice to go in and blend out those edges. So they're both really good. If I had to pick one, I would say Zoeva. Then the Real Techniques 201 also is the same. So it can take the place of either one of these as well. The bristles are far more dense on this one, but it applies the shadow really perfectly on the crease, and it is great for getting a more precise application. If you want like a more defined crease line, I really like that one for that. For applying shadow onto the lid, there are two brushes that I like for that. The Sigma E56 is my favorite. It's the one I use the most. But then I also like the Zoeva 237 detailed shader. It's really little, so you can like get into like, if you just want to apply it like a pop in the middle, or like you just kind of want to get product in just one tiny area, this really helps with a precise application. And it's also good for your inner corner as well. And then this one is just great for either packing or sweeping, either one. It's my favorite one for the lid. The 231 Petite Crease brush is another must-have for me. Sigma makes one also, and I have it, and I didn't bring it with me. But I like this one for outer V work. It's so precise. It also is really great for a cut crease because it is a pointy brush, but it's still kind of fluffy, but it's more dense than a crease brush, and it just really works amazing for that. It's also good if you want to smudge some stuff on your lower lash line as well. For eyeliner, I love the Zoeva 317 angled wing liner brush. This brush is so good for drawing a wing with gel. It is on point. I use it with my Tartist gel liner, and it's just like, whoop, flawless wing, done. Like, it's all in the brushes. It's all in the brushes. And then for lower lash line, these two brushes are my favorite. This is my MAC 219 brush. I've had this brush for eons. I mean eons. I've had this brush for 10 years, maybe. It's still going strong, and I think it's really great for buffing out like eyeliner, smudging. And then this here is the 234 Luxe Smoky Shader from Zoeva. Now this one looks like it's more for your lid, which it is. You can use this for your lid, but I really like using it to smoke out my lower lash line. You can use it for both. Like I said, I mean, most brushes have double duty purposes, but this one I do like smudging out shadow and liner as much as I like this one. And you can kind of keep it closer to the lash line, I feel like, with this one, where this one, if you want to get a little bit lower, you can do that. So, and then the last thing that I didn't mention that I feel like you need is a really fluffy powder brush, just for everyday use, to buff things out, to apply powder to your whole face, to set your makeup, whatever. This is the Pro Powder Brush from Crown Brushes. It is dirty, but the brushes have a little bit of a purple tint at the tip anyway, because these ones are purple. All my brushes are dirty. I've used them and I haven't washed them, which I'm gonna get into the whole washing your brushes later. But the only other tool that I think is worth mentioning is an eyelash curler, because you know, you really need one. You need an eyelash curler, and this one is from Sephora, and it's just a gold one, and it's dirty. Surprising. So I hope that helps you guys with what brushes you should have. You don't need to have every single one of the brushes that I showed you, but having like one in each category is really what you need. So, I mean, you need one foundation brush, one contour brush, one blush brush, and then some things you can do double duty. The reason I say a different contour brush than blush is because even though that brush can actually do both, sometimes, you know, it takes me a while to clean my brushes. And if you're mixing the products, I don't like to mix the products because then I have to wash them faster because you don't want to, you know, be dipping from contour to blush because it's going to change the shade of your blush. So that's why I like to have different brushes for each thing. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I know I was kind of all over the place, so I hope you learned something. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.